Welcome
to Leadcast. Let's go.
Intriguing.
Without delay.
Hello and welcome to episode 365 of Leadcast Podcast. I'm your host, Cooper, joining Frost Rockhouse.
Okay, we can try that again. He's your host, Nick the King Cooper. I'm Aiden Frost Rockharts, and then we have Colton Blue Basket Sweat.
No, we're doing this episode in double speed.
Yeah.
So when people listen to it at double speed, it's actually 4 times speed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The ultimate prank. Hey, this week we're going to be talking about Frostfang and its quickly hotfixed form. We got a bi-weekly from Eric. We're going to be talking about a different kind of champion, I think, in this week's Champion Spotlight, one we don't talk about a bunch. Roundtable question, your answers, and a new one. Cheese pick, and finally we have 3 emails. So we'll get to all of that after our weeks. Aiden, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. I'm on reading week starting, I guess, today, which is good. I can kind of just chillax for a little bit. Other than that, haven't really been playing League because the rank system is fucked, and Riot refuses to say anything. Not that they refuse to do anything, but they refuse to say anything is the main thing. So I refuse to play ranked, so I really only play ARMs with my friends right now until they fix it, or at least say, hey, we fucked up, but they won't do that, so don't worry, I'm probably not going to play ranked. For good games, though, I played a bunch of Apex Legends. That game's sick. I'd recommend everyone else play it.
Kind of been the game that's taken over everyone that I've, been talking to.
Mm-hmm. They deserve it, though. It's really, really smart marketing, really, really good game, so.
Yeah, for sure.
That's about it, though.
Nice. Colton?
Yeah, I played a decent amount of ranked this week. I lost 2 series to Diamond for top lane. And I hit 100 points twice for support, but didn't get series because it was while I was playing in off rolls. So now I'm sitting at like D3, I think like 60 points. And it's been pretty awful. Matchmaking is shit. It's so dumb that you can have match-made games where the average LP of one team is 200 to 300 different than the other. Like, I'm in series to try and get into Diamond for top lane, and I'm against a Master 250 points Singe one trick.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like it's fine. Like, I did fine in that lane. I just don't understand why, the matchmaking algorithm thinks that makes sense, and that they had the 2 master players on their team and we had, the 2 platinum 1 players on our team. It's just switch it up. Mm-hmm. But whatever. It's not good. The Frostfang thing, I played against, I think, in one game, and I didn't even realize it, because I saw that their Kennen had Frostfang and went Klepto, and 20 minutes in the game, they had 13 CS, and I was like, oh, they're just awful. And I guess that was the intent. I still smashed them in lane, which was kind of hilarious. I was digging on this Ken, and I think I killed him 4 times. But hey, that's League of Legends right now. So other than that, a little bit of PUBG, a little bit of For the King with our buddy Tartar. Finally convinced him to download the game that he's owned, I think, for a little while. And we played a good amount. We'll probably finish off the next time we play. But I know he played a little bit more after, and he's really enjoying it. So that's always fun, playing a game that you like with someone who's trying it for the first time. I haven't played any Apex Legends, and honestly, at this point, I don't think I will.
Really? That seems like such a you game.
Disagree.
I mean, I already have my loot and shoot. My
can't
battle
have too much
royale.
fun playing different games.
I don't know. The fact that it's only 3 people means that every time it's been being played, they've had a full team, and I'm not gonna play it on my own, and I just at this point don't really care. So I think it'll I'm sure it's a great game, and I'm sure it'll remain popular. But I'm just gonna go back to PUBG. So that's kind of where I stand at. But other than that, that's pretty much my week. Haven't played too much more Tekken with the fight stick, but I did play a couple matches, and it was okay. So I guess that's me, Nick. What are you up to, my dude? How is it in the warm south, not up in the frozen north like me?
It's a little chilly here.
Was it like 60 degrees?
No, it was colder than that. It was probably like high 40s, low 50s. I regretted not bringing a jacket today. That's how cold it was.
Oh wow!
But my week's been pretty okay. Work and school, obviously, as always. Played one ranked game, and won it, slow and steady. But yeah, playing a bunch of Apex Legends, and honestly, school's taking up a lot of my time. But did get 2 victory champions.
Apex champions, yeah.
With Aiden and his cousin, and that was a really good time. Felt like I played very well in those 2 games, and it's a pretty fun game. My only complaint is that everyone has about 64,000 HP, and you do 15 damage every shot. But I'm sure that'll get, I don't know, I'll become accustomed to it, or it'll get changed, one or the other. But yeah, that's pretty much for my week. Let's get into the rising news.
Cool. So, the only thing in the news is that they fixed Frostfang, which probably most people don't even know is a problem unless they watch competitive play.
Yeah. So previously, I guess for, I don't know, maybe 10 games max, right? Competitively, there were people running Frostfang.
Yeah.
Klepto generally is the combo. You don't get any CS and you just harass your lane opponent. You wind up with equal or more gold. You don't get a gold bounty, and you end up with vision, which is critical in competitive games.
Yeah, the vision's a huge part of it in competitive, but also the fact that, like, I wonder if Riot's going to end up changing how CSing bounties work. When you have teams actively finding strategies to avoid having CS bounties, it's crazy to me. Because with this Frostfang strategy, not only do you have more gold than the enemy, they also get a CS bounty because they're actually CSing, and you get pressure in lane because you don't have to CS. All you have to do is harass. Like, it was like the trifecta of, hey, I don't have to do anything, but I win lane. And that was problematic, so they hotfixed that real quick. In my opinion, they Band-Aid fixed it. So their solution was make it so that Frostfang and Coin only proc gold, or drop gold, or proc gold when you have someone within, I think, 1,500 units of you.
Yeah.
Which I personally think is a bit of a Band-Aid fix. I mean, they had to fix it no matter what, like, immediately. So I think this is a more justifiable Band-Aid fix than other changes, because, like, I don't know if you guys watched LCK this morning, the SKT series.
That was cancer.
Game 1 was a little bit rough, where by the end of the game, 5 people had Klepto, and, not Klepto, had Frostfangs. It was the top lane Karma, the mid lane Azir. The Ezreal picked it up at 14 minutes, and then the Tom Kench on the team started CSing instead of the Ezreal, because Ezreal is just proccing Frostfang instead of CSing after, like, getting his core. And then there's 2 people on SKT's team that had it. And it's just sad. You literally just see, if you're laning against someone who has going Klepto Frostfang, you just have a gold bounty 100% of the time. And they have more gold than you.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
and
just so
your
rough.
the entire fucking map is lit up.
It was just rough seeing, like, the beginning of the game. There's 3 people who had Klepto Frostfang, and then by the end of the game, 2 more people picked it up, and it was just cancer, dude. It just wasn't good League.
Yeah, I definitely agree that, going back to the hotfix, that it is a Band-Aid issue, or a Band-Aid fix. I think it's kind of a fine Band-Aid until they find a more permanent solution. But honestly, I don't feel like it's that big of a nerf to normal supports that it's worth the outrage that I've seen.
It's not
and maybe I'm looking in the wrong place, but
it's not that it's a big nerf. It's the fact that, once again, they're nerfing something unintentionally because it's being used somewhere else, right? The proper use is being nerfed because of an improper use.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like it's required. Like,
I completely agree. I think they had to do something immediately. But it's the same thing as like people getting upset, say when you're a I don't know, you're a mid Zyra main or something like that, right? Or like there's probably a better example of like a character that's supposed
only nerf support Zyra.
other way around, but yeah, that would make more sense, right?
Well, yeah.
Say if you're like a support Zyra main where she's meant to be played, right? And then mid Zyra starts being played, so they nerf Zyra and you get fucked by it. You're pissed because they're nerfing something that's not intentionally supposed to be in the game, which nerfs something that's supposed to be in the game intentionally, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Which I can understand frustration. I think 100% they had to do something like right then and now, or else, I mean, competitive would have been fucked for like 2 weeks if they didn't. So I'm glad they've.
I
dealt
imagine
with
we
it.
would see eight. We would see 8 Frostfangs every single game.
Oh yeah, 100% at least. Like the strategy of Ezreal farming till he got Muramana and Sheen, and then switch it by Frostfang, and then letting Tom Kench CS, so Tom Kench got full build, is brilliant. And I like seeing stuff like that, but holy fuck, it's boring.
Yeah, it's definitely super innovative, and would maybe even change how the game is played, like fundamentally. Mm-hmm. But the opposite side of that is it's fucking cancer to play against.
Yeah,
Like if you don't want to play Frostfang, you just lose.
Like it would have been
And-
cool, like to like almost if you could split the universe, you know what I mean? Like split the dimensions and then have an alternate dimension, Nick, where this change is allowed to be in the game for like the next 6 months and see where it would go.
And everyone fucking hates it.
But like it would be cool to see like maybe you have AD carry bottom who CSs for like first 100 CS of the game, gets their core, and what your support is like a hyper carry something, like a hyper carry Cassiopeia or something like that, right? Because after those 15 minutes when you get Frosting, she starts CSing, and she CSs for the next 300 CS of the game. Like, it'd be cool to see, like, if the meta developed like that. It would be awful, don't get me wrong, but I'd like to see, like, how people would innovate on a shit change like that.
Yeah, I'm fine not seeing it, but yeah, I think it would be interesting to see. But like, it would just be bad, right? Like it'd be interesting, but it would just be bad.
And I just
and
like
I think,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, so like I think what they did to it, it's irritating because like it nerfs those 2 items for supports who are using it properly, like a little bit, right? And like the big complaint is, well, if I want to hit tower when my AD carry is back, or like if my AD carry dies and they're pushing, I want to be able to harass and get my gold. And like I agree with that. That's frustrating, kind of dumb that you can't. I think in terms of band-aid fixes, this is probably one of the better ones. And I think like one of the ways they could maybe potentially go about this is like make it so only like one player on the team gets the wards, where like only one Frostfang or Coin or Targons can actually give you that ward passive per team. Because I think that's like the even more fucked part about it. Like if you resolve the issue with bounties, which I think CS bounties are kind of dumb to begin with, like I think the wards are the really cancerous part when it comes to actual like competitive fighting, because I think you can figure out a way around the gold aspect of it, but when you get to late game, if gold is even and they have 12 wards around the Baron and your team only has 4, like you just lose, and that's not fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the gold aspect is a lot larger than the ward aspect. Like the wards are just kind of a nice byproduct, but it's the fact that you can get 10,000 gold in 20 minutes with no CS bounty.
I do think the wards were pretty big in the competitive aspect, though.
Yeah, no,
Colt's point.
absolutely. They're big, but I feel like it's the gold aspect part of it. Like if you get, I don't know, if you get ganked, and it's you get killed, you're not giving up, that extra gold that's worth 2 kills basically.
It was like, I'm not
But
sure
you
if you
wind up
watched the SKT series, Nick, but like SKT would clear out their jungle, and then they played it. They played against KT,
instantly
right?
place more wards.
Yeah, KT would walk in with like their 5 control wards and their King
right?
Zone. Yeah, it was King Zone. Thank you.
Yeah.
King Zone would walk in with their 5 control wards plus their 9 Sightstone wards, and just litter their jungle with fucking 14 wards. And you're like, oh, that's not fair.
Yeah. No, it's super cancer. I honestly I don't have a problem with CS bounties. I think it is fine. The idea is you're worth so much more gold that they get extra gold for shutting you down. Don't die. Like that's the counter to gold bounties, you know? Just play better.
I guess, but like to me I get that point, but it's also like to develop an actual like gold bounty from CS, you have to be seriously outplaying your opponent to begin with. And it's like, oh yeah, you're doing really well. Let's make it even harder on you by giving them another comeback mechanic.
I mean, another comeback mechanic kind of feels like we were complaining that the games were too long, then they shortened them. Then we complained that the games were too short, so they offered like another comeback mechanic. But that's not good enough to fix the issue. I don't know. It seems kind of like hypocritical to continue like criticizing when they respond to the community about that specific thing.
I personally think CS bounties are fine in the way they are. I just feel like with Frostfang, like it was not even. I feel like the conversation's not about CS bounties at that point, right? Because
absolutely,
they literally had less gold. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just it doesn't like if there's a system in place, regardless of if it is good for the game or not, something that like skirts it this hard and is just like the default go-to eventually is not good for the health of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that they fixed it. I don't think the hotfix is as bad as everyone, seems to make it out to be.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think it's that bad. I think in terms of like all of the Band-Aid fix that have happened in like the last 2 years, it's one of the better ones that like did what it's supposed to without ruining things for everyone and can actually stick in place for a while they come up with a permanent solution. But yeah, I think definitely when you're like back to my complaint about like CS bounties, like with this, it's completely stupid. I think to begin with, I don't think it's really necessary, but like not bad enough by any means that it needs to be changed. I just, in principle, I don't really like it, but
Nick,
with Frostfang, it's fucked.
Nick, a couple days ago, you mentioned that you think we're getting back into like a fuck riot, like outrage culture type thing. And I definitely agree with you. I feel like that's just like the internet in general, but it does feel like every little thing Riot does that's maybe not ideal is like blown out of proportion.
Sure. Yeah. Like I brought up that I think this is a fine change for the time being until they figure out something more permanent. And I honestly don't even think that if this is the permanent route that they went with, that it would be as bad as everyone's making it out to be, because the entirety of Reddit was just like, this is the worst fucking change. Support's like dead. Like there's no reason to play support. It's not fun anymore. And it's like, you're not proccing Frostfang if someone's not close to you anyway. Like if you're proccing it, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation in 1v2 if your AD carry is back. The only scenario which I can see it working is like times when your AD carry is backing in the bush and you want to get your 3 stacks on the turret before you back. Which I think that's an easy fix. Frostfang procs on turret. Like as long as there's no cooldown from CS, it procs on turret. Easy. Like that problem's fixed.
I do.
There was like,
sorry, God.
I was just gonna say there was like 2,000 comments like within a couple hours of the announcement being put up, and every single one of them was like, "Well, this is it. Like we come up with a fun way to play the game, and it's just completely ruined."
Yeah, I do think that's just like more internet culture than anything, or what internet culture is becoming. Like tangentially related, the whole like Super Bowl thing with the SpongeBob thing.
Yeah,
people are actually fucking mad about that. Like that they didn't play. I don't even know what the song's called. What's it? I don't even know.
Sweet Victory.
Sweet Victory. Like people are actually fucking mad. Like boycotting.
Well, I think that's a little understandable. Like boycotting and stuff, I don't get, but it's a little understandable to be frustrated when up to the event everyone was leaking like this is going to be it, like they're going to do it, and then they played like a 6-second clip before going on to something else. Like I could be a little frustrated if that.
It's just crazy, dude. When people get so mad about shit like that, even though it's a fucking kids cartoon. Holy shit, dude. Yeah. So I think that's just like in internet culture in general, though. Like people see something, then just immediately want to fucking make it the biggest deal possible.
But I think like in times like this where, there's a lot of negativity about League, and maybe it's deserved, maybe it's not. I think certain things are, like the rank changes, probably deserved of a lot more flame than it's getting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like it's not affecting, like it's affecting us, like at the higher level of game. But for the majority of people, it probably doesn't do anything, even though that's a worse change for the game overall.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important to, like, I don't know, to think about some of the good stuff that Riot's done in the past. Like, what other, MOBA with microtransactions like this has the level of crafting that, like, League does? I mean, I personally can't think of any, aside from, like, loot box games, but even that's sort of, like, chance, But, hey, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a corporate shill paid by Riot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you getting paid?
I wish. That'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, I think that's all there is to talk about Frostfang. Hopefully, I did see that it, at the request of both European League and NALCS, that the hotfix has been employed. So it's kind of nice to see that teams don't actually want to play that. So we shouldn't see it in NA and EU this week, even though we saw it in Korea today, which is something I look forward to. Cool. So let's get into the Vi Weekly, where we have a message from Eric.
Yeah, he sent it on our Facebook, and I thought it was a good discussion point.
Let's do it.
Sure. So he said, it's kind of a detailed topic, but could you guys explain some of the numbers of the game? Like how armor and MR works, base scaling versus scaling stats, armor pen / lethality. I tried to look it up, but it didn't make much sense. Thanks, gents. P.S. Nice socks.
Yeah, so I think we can totally do this, but I don't, we shouldn't dive into the actual exact formula. I think we should just explain at, like, a generalized level how it works.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, right, we don't want to get into, like, the math behind it, because then it gets kind of boring. And this is not a math podcast. This is a
numbers are bad for
podcasts.
podcasts.
Have you ever looked at the formula for, like, MR, by the way?
No.
Yeah, the armor and MR formula is really, like,
This is why you don't
it's a fun
explain them.
formula.
I'll post it in our chat.
Oh.
See what I mean?
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so basically the way armor and MR, their formula, and again, you can look it up if you want to, it's out there. The way the formula basically works is that your magic resist and armor will reduce incoming physical or magic damage by a percentage based on how much you have. The less you have, the more effective each increment is, right? So if I have 0 armor and I buy 10, it's going to reduce damage by roughly like 10%. And these aren't exact numbers. If I buy like 10 more, it would be like 18. If I buy like 10 more, maybe I'm at like 27. Like the increments get smaller and smaller, where, if you have like 300 MR, let's say, and you buy 100 more, you're only getting like 1 to 2% more damage reduction.
Yeah, that's called diminishing returns.
Yeah, diminishing returns. That's the word I was basically describing, right? So that first null magic mantle or cloth armor you buy is going to be the most effective armor or magic resist purchase you ever get, which is why a lot of times you see tanks picking up a quick Spectre's Cowl or a quick Chain Vest just to get it out there, because that first purchase is the most effective one. And maybe they sit on a while. Or just when you get one of those items, it's super effective, right? Like, a mid laner picking up Merc Treads is huge. Because even though it's only 25 MR, that first 25 MR is like minus 15% damage from the enemy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty big. I don't know. I don't want to type too loudly for the mic to pick up. But if somebody wants to pick up or to look at the actual like graph to see what the a lot of the big breaking points are, because like 50% damage reduction is probably like,
it's at 100.
Is that at 100?
Yeah,
I thought it was a little.
It has them. Well, at least based on what I'm reading here. Let me find it. It says 25 magic resist is 20% reduction. 100 is 50% reduction. And then obviously you can go the other way. If you reduce people's MR so they have negative 25 resist, then it's 20% increase.
So like that huge, like the first 20 is 25% of your total like damage reduction, and then the next 25 comes from 80, and then the next 25 is going to come from like 200 or 250.
Like
so
crazy diminishing returns.
Yeah. But it's still effective to go like 5 or 6 armor items on tank champions if you're up against full armor, because that extra like tiny little bit of damage reduction combined with the passives or actives of items can like really let you live longer, even if it doesn't look like it from a numbers perspective.
That and the fact that like most of those armor items also have a lot of health. Most of the characters that can actually get to that crazy point of like 300 plus armor have some kind of armor scaling in their kit. I'm thinking like the Malphites, Tarek, Ramesses of the world that all have armor scaling abilities. And then like also just considering armor penetration and like Black Cleavers, right? That even though like the 300 to 400 armor isn't much, it matters a lot more if they have a Black Cleaver or Last Whisper.
Yeah. So I guess we can get into base versus scaling. That one's pretty simple. Base is essentially the very bare minimum your champion is at, like ever going to be at. So let's say, I don't know, we'll just pick a random champion, and I don't know if we want to use actual numbers or just made up ones, but we'll say like Cho'Gath, right? Cho'Gath, melee champion, he's going to have scaling MR and scaling armor per level, which means he just gains a flat amount of armor in MR every time he levels up. But his base armor is going to be, which I believe increases throughout the game along with scaling. The base armor is just the very base, like level 1. Let's say he gets 20 armor at level 1. That's his base armor. But I think the way League is classified, every time you level up, your base armor increases by the amount that your armor scales by. So I believe your base armor is that number that your champion inherently has between levels 1 and 18 with no outside influence from runes or items.
Yes, like it's very common, and again, just easy numbers, like for someone to start with like a base armor magic resist of like 30, and then at level 2, it's maybe 32. But like it's not going to show when you look at their like 30 plus 2. It's like that additional amount per level just changes on your base stat line.
Yeah.
And then you're at like 32, 34, 36, so on and so forth.
I believe you can see that change on your own personal champion, but not on others. And I think that number is gray when it's base and green when you've added onto it.
Yeah, and it is important to note that these like base values do change drastically between characters. I think like the lowest in the game is like Orianna. I think it's like Orianna or Malzahar, who has like 17 or something like that. Whereas I think Braum, Tom Kench, and someone else have the most at like 48 or something, which is a huge difference.
And that's like 10 or 15% damage reduction. But it makes sense because like Malzahar or Orianna want to stay away and like poke you from afar. Braum, Tarek, they want to be in your face and beating you down.
Yeah.
And then finally, armor pen lethality. Ooh, so lethality, I pulled up a page because I wanted to make absolutely sure. Lethality is armor penetration that is based on your level and completed and a flat amount of armor pen from the item itself.
I can actually explain that pretty easily. So like, I feel like to either explain the reason behind it first, Nick, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So first of all, armor pen, flat armor pen. Is there any flat armor pen left in the game, actually? I don't even know if there is. There's percentage armor pen left in the game.
I think it's percentage armor pen, flat lethality.
Yeah, I don't think there's... So there used to be flat armor pen. That became OP because bruisers and assassins, like characters like Pantheon were like the biggest abusers of it. Pantheon, Talon. They would just build a ton of flat armor pen early, which strictly just took that number off the target that you're attacking's armor. So say you'd have like 40 or 50 armor pen, something bullshit by like 25, 30 minutes if you were smashing on Pantheon, and then you'd go to an 80 carry who has 30, and then you just hit them and they'd have negative armor pen. And you do more than true damage because it's just such an overpowered stat early in the game. So what they did was they introduced lethality, which is, think of it as armor pen that scales. So the calculation, it works out so that at level 18, it is just flat armor pen. 100%, like, you get the, all the lethality items, I believe, give 18 lethality. By the end of the game,
I think so, yeah.
It will be 18, that you take off of their armor when you attack them. When you're level 18, that is. That's how the scaling works.
Per item.
Per item. But when you're level 1, that's a fraction of the effectiveness. I think it'll give you like 10 armor pen-ish, depending on your level. But I think like level 1, I think it's like 10 point something, if I remember correctly. But that will scale to the full 18. So it's pretty well to balance bruisers that take over the game early through armor pen.
Mm-hmm. That still rewards them for being ahead by attaching it to their champion level, which generally, if you're winning, you're going to be higher level than anyone else. But isn't as oppressive as instantly having 40 with 2.5 items.
Yeah.
And then armor pen is sort of the same, but it is a percentage of your target's armor rather than influenced by your champion. It is influenced by their champion, your target's champion. And that's just a percentage amount. I believe they changed it along with the lethality changes where percent armor pen is applied before lethality.
I believe so.
So let's say you have 100. You're hitting a target with 100 armor. You have 50. We'll make it easy. 50% armor pen and 25 lethality. You're going to reduce their armor by 50% when you hit them from your armor pen, which then will be reduced by 25 from your lethality, leaving them with 25 armor.
It goes flat then what's it called? Percentage, by the way.
It's flat and then percent?
Yes, I just looked it up.
Ugh, that's
It'd be
awful.
fucked otherwise.
That's awful.
It'd be really fucked otherwise.
It's
though.
not that big of a
I
difference.
It's significant though, for
Let's
sure.
take the same scenario. So like 25 lethality would leave you at 75, and half of that would be 30 something. So it's the difference of like 8 armor if you have those specific numbers.
Well, so no,
huge,
there
but-
would bring you down to 75, and then that and a half is 37.5. From 25, that's 12.5 armor difference.
Oh,
but
true,
again,
yeah.
at that low
Bad math.
numbers, that's like 8 to 10% damage difference, right? And again, like if they had like 200 armor, let's say, so we dropped to like 75 the first way, or like 120 something the other. Like, I don't want to like dive in and do so many examples, but like it is, I think, it better that way because you just. Like, stacking armor would be a lot harder if it did your percentage and then your lethality.
That's fair, yeah. But hopefully that explained it and we didn't make it, more complicated than it had to be. And the same thing works with MR.
But more
Yeah,
simplistic.
the same way. Because there's
Yeah.
just flat magic pen and there's just flat and then there's just percentage penetration. There's no separate stuff for it.
Yeah. It'd be interesting if lethality was not just from, like it included magic pen as well.
Oh, you mean like there were lethality items and it was just like a scaling stat where...
Yeah, it was just lethality, and your champion would gain armor pen and magic pen if you purchased it.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I guess magic pen's fine right now, so I don't want to throw
Yeah,
another cog in the...
Magic pen
Or
is
wrench in
okay
the
as it
cogs.
is.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for the message, email, whatever that was.
Yeah,
email?
Facebook message.
Facebook message, okay.
Hell yeah. So, which champion you guys want to talk about in Champion Spotlight? I see a couple of unfamiliar faces up there.
So, as much as I want to do Ivern and Shaco and Orzilian, I think Karthus is the best one to do because I feel like he's going to be really bad next patch with the nerfs.
Ooh, you think so?
So I think it's cool to talk about him now because he's usually not
Sure.
super relevant.
Hell yeah.
So, why is Karthus good? Because he's a jungler right now. If you're not following how the
What?
game works, he is probably the best jungler in the game right now.
Huh?
Yeah.
What's happening?
So the main gist of
He's
it,
rolling over in his competitive grave.
yeah, the main gist of it is that he has a pretty decent clear, minus the fact that he gets invaded and killed immediately. His clear is pretty safe, especially when you get blue buff, and you can kind of just farm safely from your jungle, and then you just assist with your ult, getting stacks for your Dark Harvest, and then just kind of scaling into a late game monster. It's kind of like you can always assist fights even from the jungle. It's like the old jungle Shen.
It's like your master Yi, but magic damage, and you don't need to be on that half of the map.
Do you remember when Master Yi Jungle used to run TP as its secondary?
TP Smite, yeah.
Fucking Christ.
But no, like, right, like, that's the thing, is that it's weak in the early game, but, like, if you can get, like, your jungle item, your clear is just insanely fast. You go out with fine health, and you just scale like a friggin' monster. Plus, his, like, objective control's nutty, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. It's too good.
Yeah, plus his champion still utilizes Dark Harvest extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I think let's talk about the build. Let's dive into it because it's not the typical mid lane Karthus build.
No.
So
you start
first item. Yeah. So first item is going to be his jungle item.
Yeah, your talisman. I almost said your machete. Definitely don't get machete on him. You don't auto very much.
Don't get machete yet.
Also, don't take Doran's ring on it.
Don't take Doran's.
Fuck.
Because you won't hit level 1 after 2 camps.
Yeah.
So, or you won't hit level 2. Sorry.
So it's pretty simplistic. You start Q, take talisman, go to your blue buff. Because if you go to any other camp, you'll have to back for mana because you're going to be spamming that Q a lot. But after you get your blue, it's pretty easy. You can level E or W. Really, you're not going to use your your E to clear like very many early camps. Really, maybe for raptors, but not for wolves or any single target camps. But yeah, then you just like walk around and you kite minions as much as you can, trying to get distance so they don't damage you as much. He's pretty good at kiting actually, because your Q is pretty easy to like put in front of them. And then you just kind of like do a full clear. You kind of never want to fight the enemy jungler. You never really want to gank as him.
That being said, like, typically you don't gank. Your goal is to farm, but by no means should you like never ever gank no matter what, right? Like, if you're taking your Krugs and you see the bot lane diving your team, like, go help them. Because a lot of Karthus jungles I've seen don't realize that or don't do anything. And also, especially like if you've already done your clear and your camps are down, like, if you have a chance to get a free Dark Harvest stack, right, like if they're below the threshold, just pop them with like an E, a Q, whatever, and like walk away, get your free stack and move on.
I guess moving into his like actual full build though. So you do start talisman, definitely refillable. You'll need it for kind of every time you back. It's pretty straightforward. You go blue smite with runic echoes. I think you go umbrella nomicon, and then you can start diversifying your build a little bit between say hat, zonias, void staff, Magias if you're smashing. I personally go for more of like a suicide Karthus whenever I play him, like kind of diving in, just fucking. Because I feel like there's a lot to be said about being able to just be in the back line and die immediately, but still wreak havoc. So I really never get Magias on him. But once again, if you're just smashing, Magias is a really good item on that character. But yeah, just more like the pretty basic items: Merlinomicon, hat, Zonias, Void Staff, your jungle item.
I see a
boots.
lot of Spellbinder as well.
Spellbinder's super good.
So the only thing I don't like about Spellbinder Karthus is that you can't activate it when you die, which is generally when you want to use your ulti. Granted, you can activate it before you suicide in, but there's always that risk of your ulti getting interrupted if you're alive. So that would be my argument against it. However, if you're able to use it in base and then ulti, you're adding 100 damage to your 100 AP.
Big damage.
100 AP to your ulti, which is huge. So
Yeah.
and maybe you can always activate it like just before you die and have enough time. I'm not actually sure.
I mean,
work,
it diminishes, so it wouldn't really help that much. One thing I guess I would note for those who do want to play Jungle Karthus, invest in control wards early, because you will get invaded if your opponent knows what they're doing.
Hey, and if you get invaded, fucking run.
Yeah, don't try and fight. Probably, like, in maybe some very like fringe cases where like you're at 90% health and their jungler comes in at like 40%, then maybe go for it. I think
I'd consider running then.
You would, but you're not me. You and I play the game differently. But like, be aware of, what they're trying to do, and just go get farm where you can. Like, if especially, and I've seen this a lot as well, right? Where like one team has no priority in top or mid, and right yet their jungler comes into your topside jungle, and then the Karthus tries to still farm for things, and like you're just gonna die, and there's nothing your team can do to help you because they're shoved in under tower. Like you gotta pay attention to that kind of stuff if you're gonna play this really like slow burn scaling jungler. You have to know what's going on in the map, and you're gonna probably have to just give up some camps throughout the game. That's just what's gonna happen.
What's weird is that, like, going back to the slow burn, is that I'm looking at his opg.gg page, and his win rate actually generally gets lower as the game goes further on. He goes from 3rd in win rate to 40th or to 20th in win rate, which is nuts because he's always a late game champion. Did we mention which kind of boots?
Yeah, you go pen 100% of the time.
Spell pen beats,
Yeah, pen all the time. And runes. Dark Harvest.
Cheap shot.
Probably
eyeball.
Cheap shot. Yeah.
Ravenous.
Eyeball.
You can go Ravenous or Ultimate. I think Ravenous is better still, honestly. But I think Ultimate's fine.
I think kind of doubling down on your ulti cooldown's fine.
I don't think it's that crazy. You're in precision, like you're secondary going precision, picking up Presence of Mind anyways, though. Like you definitely need that. That's like, if you don't take that, you're going to be real sad for the game.
Presence of Mind and Coup de Grace.
Yep, good old Coup de Grace.
So.
Yeah, I think he's pretty
Karthus.
straightforward, though, honestly. I think late game, if they do have someone super, super fed, you can almost always trade 1-for-1 on them, assuming they don't have some way to block your ult, that is. Like, you can just flash on a, 20-kill target, put a wall down, just start throwing Qs at. As long as you hit, 1 or 2 Qs, you can ult them and trade 1-for-1, which sometimes is just enough to win you guys a fight. So, just know your power late game is, the main strength of the character, or the main difficulty.
And don't be afraid to just kill yourself, getting to the back line.
Yeah. Your flash is your biggest thing, honestly. Being able to flash in is just crazy good.
It's crazy that, this is the one character where you want to, your optimal play is to flash in and die.
Yeah. I love Karthus as a character. It's so smart.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool. Do you guys want to talk about his best skin? Because I feel like he has a lot of, pretty subpar skin.
He does. He doesn't have any good ones.
I think Grim Reaper is his best.
Yeah, because the rest of them are fucking garbage.
They're pretty bad.
I only own Statue of Karthus, which is pretty bad, too.
I own the rock and roll one and Phantom.
Let's see. Karthus. What skins do I own? I think I have 3 or 4. I've got Fanatic Karthus, Pentakill Karthus, and Statue of Karthus.
The chromas for Grim Reaper are pretty cool, too.
I didn't realize he had chromas.
I didn't either until now. He has a purple one, a red one, and a blue one.
Ooh.
Cool. Grim Reaper's definitely the best, though.
It is, yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Medekaiser, not a round table.
Round table. Medekaiser Part 2.
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo.
Round table.
So last week's question was, what's your favorite skin line? What champion do you want to get a skin from this line? James on our Facebook said, Star Guardian Urgot. It's not my favorite skin line, but that needs to happen. Chad said, Winter Wonder / Tempest / Stormline. Kane for both Candy Cane and Hurricane. Those would both be good, actually. Devin said, High Noon. The recall and death animations are so dope, but I think they've already picked all the best champions for this line. I agree. They've kind of nailed all of them, honestly. Benji said, my favorite skin line so far has been Star / Pajama Guardian mashup. I would love to have any Ivern skin. Could you imagine Ivern Star Guardian? Star Guardian Ivern would be sick, actually.
Dude, Pajama Guardian Ivern, let's go.
Hell yeah.
Elderwood Ivern?
Shut up.
That'd be pretty cool too, but imagine he just walks up to you and throws your shield and it's just a big cozy blanket. He just wraps you up.
Dude, I want fucking Totemic Ivern where he's just on fire. Hell yeah.
That is a weird Maokai skin.
Yeah.
Can there be an LSD Ivern one where he's just a big old mushroom and he's just
Yeah, it's called Classic Ivern.
Yeah,
hell
right?
yeah. Dustin said Dark Star Malzahar or any unique ultimate skin for Malzahar that isn't gated behind 10 gemstones. I agree, man. I like Melzar's old skins though. Like I used to be a Melzar main like season 2, so
The yellow one's pretty sick.
even like all of them are actually really cool. Tom said Arclight Kale or Arclight Swain would be pretty cool additions. Arclight Vel'Koz is already really well done, and these champs could get some similar animations. From our Discord, Lil Barnabas said, "Give me that old West Tark. Give him a vest and a cowboy hat. Make his hammer more like a hammer used to hit the spikes in on a railroad. Give his gems would be a horseshoe and a cowbell or something." Pards Bay said, "I know it's not a specific skin line, but the big boys in animal suits such as Meowkai, Cowbell, Alistar, and Birdo, I would want to see an an Orn in like a duck onesie or something. Actually, a frog onesie." Bro Casey said, "Pool party skin line with pool party Alawi. The tentacles would be pool noodles, and she could hold a beach ball. That'd be pretty sick." Dr. Otter said, "I would like a pool party Twitch skin. I don't want him to have any kind of pool party attire. I just want him to be an otter. Actually, just change the lore to make him an otter. Twitch the plague otter. That's all." And then last but not least, Dual Dowser said, "I want definitely not Volburst skin where it's just base Warwick."
Nice.
Yeah. It's good. So this week's roundtable question is, you go on a date with the last champion that you played. How does it go?
Uh-oh. Braum.
Ooh, that's a good date.
That's a really good date.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that would probably be like, we go to the park or something, get some ice cream.
Dude, Braum is such a gentleman. He'd treat you. Well, okay, so I guess I'll go. Mine's fucking Pike. So like he hooks me in, right? He starts by hooking me. He slides into my DMs and he's like, "Hey, let's go on a date." Right, and then like
fucking kill someone.
And then he fucking like murders me, and then he murders someone because he's like, "Isn't that cool?" And then like, then we get to share the income from it. So I guess that's pretty nice.
And then he just fucking ghosts.
And then he fucking ghosts me. Yeah, he fucking flies out of there, turns invisible, and I just hear like, boom, and I'm like, "Where'd he go?"
Right.
How about you, Aiden?
So mine was Poppy as my last played.
Ooh.
So it'd probably be like an adventure, like Indiana Jones adventure, trying to find the true hero. Mm-hmm. That's about it, though.
Oh, yeah.
We can't find them, though.
No, you just be like, "I found the true hero, and she's in that mirror," and then there you go, you're done. Because Poppy's
I'm not trying to fuck.
The true hero was the friends we made along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to wine and dine Poppy, dude.
That's not what you
you
say
are.
in normal games where you play Poppy.
Aiden, don't even.
If she didn't have that
like
tooth,
that.
dude. If she didn't have that tooth.
She didn't have that snaggletooth.
Yeah, the snaggletooth is a little bit fucking weird.
What's the obsession with that? I don't understand it.
I don't know. It's an anime thing. It's fucking weird.
It is, yeah. Weebs get out.
Yeah. Fucking Avatar's not that good.
Kids television show.
Yikes. So if you guys want to tell us who would you go on a date with based on your last champion to play, tell us how it would go. Hit us up on our Facebook page at Leaguecast, send us an email, mail@leaguecastpodcast.com, or come into our Discord and post in the roundtable section. Yeah.
You're killing it, dude.
Hell yeah.
Cheese pick.
All right. Cheese pick this week in honor of income items, support items on characters that shouldn't be taking them. We're gonna have Mord support. So obviously you take the relic shield so you can shove up, and basically the point of it is just you're always near the dragon. So if your team ever gets it, you basically just win the game because that part of his passive is fucked. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I mean, your W gives you pretty strong sustain in lane. He's, decent trading tools with like his E. I mean, he's not going to like be the best, but if you're against another melee support, you probably win that trade 9 out of 10 times. We're going to then pair that with Menonita cheese, which it's like a semi-hard, like more of like a white than a yellow cheese. And that's, that's my section.
I'm semi-hard.
Interesting.
You're semi-hard right now? Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet, Aiden.
First email's from Logan, and this is in response to the roundtable question. I feel the outrage that Leona got Solar and Lunar Eclipse and Diana got left out is pretty real, so yeah, Solar and Lunar Eclipse Diana, Logan.
That'd be sick, actually.
Yeah, kind of. It would be.
It'd be cool that they both had it, honestly, though.
I think
Yeah, it
Aurelion
feels
Sol
weird
should
that-
get one of those.
It feels weird that Leona got both instead of Leona getting lunar and Diana getting solar.
Yeah.
But I guess she already has the fire skin.
It would have been really cool if they released both for both of them at the same time. That would have made
Yeah.
more sense for them both having two, I guess.
What if they did like an event where it's like you have to like pick a team and you can only get one?
Oh no,
Yikes.
people would be so mad.
They'd be
But they
real
would lose
mad.
so much money.
They probably would, but it would also be kind of hype. Would be a bad business decision for sure.
Sure. Thanks, Logan.
Next email is from Carl. Carl! Hey dudes. I've been thinking a lot recently about how Riot is always trying to find ways to speed up or slow down parts of the game, and sometimes games as a whole. They typically do this through manipulation of minion waves or turret stats, sometimes more extremely like with turret plating. How would you guys feel if Riot decided to give players a more active and effective way to interact with turrets themselves, such as buffing Janna's shield on turrets or creating more abilities that interact with turrets, mainly defensive? Or remembering that Ohm Wrecker exists and making that an actual item that isn't immediate grounds for a report. Turrets are a huge part of the game, and oftentimes players overlook this and just focus on playing against the other humans in the match rather than playing the map itself to win the game. Let me know what you think. Obligatory thanks for reading the long email, just trying to spark some discussion about a topic I don't hear much on. Carl, former David the Anivia guy, but I think that died a long time ago. Rest in peace.
I thought they removed Omrecker from the game, but apparently they didn't.
No. Okay, just quick pitch here. What if Omrecker, you could cast it on your turrets to make them like invincible for that same period of time?
I think that'd be a good buff to Omrecker, but I kind of like the idea of turrets being something that you protect rather than they protect you. Maybe with the exception of like, I don't know, early parts of the game. But I'd rather not see them get stronger, especially defensively, to allow them to shut down like more offensive play.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'd want to see in terms of stat changes on turrets. Like, I think that making that change to Omrecker would make Omrecker a better item for sure, but I don't think that's really the way that should go. Though I think it would be really hilarious, like, if someone just rushed Omrecker and it's like, haha, we got Herald, and you just popped it right before the Herald dives in. You just block the damage.
Mm-hmm.
But no, yeah. I feel like game pace is about a lot more like other things and not so much about like your turret stats.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like it's really tough to add more things that interact with towers themselves, because like once you put it out there, it's either going to be, you know, real bad and then nobody does it and you're just like, well, what a dumb change, right? You changed my character and gave them this ability now that they can buff the tower and it's just useless and bad. Or it becomes stupidly strong and it like dominates the game. Or they have to try and like make like a huge rework where like we're gonna give this to like 7 champions, and that's not gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would never give like a certain champion like game breaking like parts of their kit, right?
That's
like,
a joke, right?
Extra damage to
Yeah,
shield,
that's...
like true invisibility.
They wouldn't remove all that from the game 2 months after the release, right?
Yeah, no.
Like no, they would do it and then they'd just have to realize it was bad.
That wouldn't
So, I don't
happen.
I haven't seen him go back on the double crit though, which is weird.
The what now?
Double crit.
Yasuo's passive.
Yeah. And Callista. Yasuo and Callista.
That's a
both
weird way to
great.
say Kaisa.
No,
Callista's not a real champ.
Callista's not a real champ, but she's got the dumb Band-Aid passive. Kai'Sa's just the best AD carry in the game and will be for 3 more years.
Oh, that's not true. That's a weird way to say Ezreal and Lucian.
I think
Nice.
Kai'Sa's the best AD carry in the game.
Really?
We were talking about that last night. We were saying that like her kit she will be a top 5 AD carry for at least 3 years. Just based on her kit. Like there's no way like to get around it. A fucking invisibility speed move and alt that has like 3,000 range and is a 700 health shield. Like she's always going to be relevant.
I think it's less of her kit and more of her, like, maybe it's still part of her kit, but her ability to just adapt really well to itemization changes. Like, she's a good crit AD carry if crit's strong. She's a good on-hit AD carry if on-hit's strong. She's a good AP carry if, like, mage items are fucked.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, okay.
Anyway, thanks again for the
Yeah.
email, Carl.
Thanks,
And
Carl.
I think we got one more.
Yeah, from Speedy Spikes. Hey, guys.
How fast are they?
Pretty fast. First up, roundtable answer. I really like the High Noon skin line and what they did to this past year, but hopefully we'll see some new dog and cat skins for this year's Versus event. Pugma is nice, but what about Rammus as a spiky-collared bulldog just running over people? Dogwalker Malzahar summoning tiny dogs, or Puppy Zoe shooting tennis balls at people? I think those are all really good skin ideas.
Yeah, that'd be fucking great.
Next up is an Aiden specific talking point. I've been waiting to hear Aiden's Kingdom Hearts thoughts in the How's Your Week portion. I'm only a couple worlds in, and there's just so many new game and fighting mechanics. It's pretty great, and I hope there's a good straightforward ending to this headache storyline. Cheers to the upcoming 3-day weekend. Speedy Spikes. What's the upcoming weekend?
Oh, we have family day.
Day, my dude.
Oh, you guys have you have President's Day. We have family day.
Oh, I bet I don't have that off.
Why wouldn't you? You work for the
You
government.
definitely have that off. I feel like everything's
I bet
like
I
closed.
I feel like I don't get a break until like March or April.
Ooh, I think you do, but
I'll have to double check. But yeah, Aiden, what are your thoughts?
It's
on
fucking
Kingdom Hearts 3
garbage.
so far. Oh,
okay, it's not fucking garbage. It's like a Kingdom Hearts 3 out of 10. It's.
that's not good.
I mean, I'll play through it and I'll probably like enjoy it enough. But if I want to take a step back as an unbiased like review of the game, probably a 3 out of 10.
Yikes.
Kind of runs like shit, kind of looks like shit. Like it's probably the worst voice acting in any game I've ever played.
Yeah, I've heard that the
dialogue,
that is extremely like.
Not only is it
it
written,
doesn't flow like a conversation.
not only is it written poorly, every single person phones it in or is like 20 euros too old for the characters they're playing and don't care. It also just seems like it's probably poorly translated.
Mm-hmm.
Just my favorite quote so far is what is it? I know hurt.
Yeah, dude, that was on the Donkey video.
That's the worst
I
one.
know hurt.
I know hurt.
Oh, boy.
It's I don't know, and it also just like there's too many garbage mechanics. Like so, every single like spin-off game has its own mechanic that it introduced. Like Birth by Sleep has links, and whatever the shot thing is called. Dream Drop Distance has the flow motion garbage. It's just like they tried to fucking jam packed it all into one fucking game, and it just like is fucking. Maybe if I enjoyed those spin-off games, when I say spin-off, they're super important to the plot, but like not being on a main console, being on handheld. Maybe if I enjoyed those, I would enjoy it more. But holy shit, dude, it doesn't even control that well. I don't know. The music's really good though. Music's always really good in this game. So
yeah, that's what I've heard is that the soundtrack is like actually fantastic.
yeah. So I mean, I'll probably finish it during my reading week. But so far, it's I haven't been motivated to play it. I have like 5 hours into it or something like that. But
Yeah, I feel like there was like the day that it came out that you were playing it a bunch, and then you've just been in TeamSpeak every day since.
I just don't have like motivation to play it, I guess is the main thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I'll finish it. It was funny watching Leffen play it. I'm not sure if you like watch any Leffen stream. So he was playing it. He was just shitting on it, dude. And the only people who is there anyone worse in the world than Kingdom Hearts fans? Like diehard Kingdom Hearts fans? Like ones who have Kingdom Hearts avatars on Twitter and stuff? Probably not.
Like video game wise?
Or just anything wise. Maybe some sort of sports fans.
I mean, maybe
Smash
like
fans
Rick
are
and Morty.
fucking terrible. I
Rick and
hate
Morty
Smash.
fans, yeah. Because holy fuck, he even said like So I can understand people being mad. Hey, you can't shit on the game because you didn't play the other games, and so you can't like shit about the story. But he'd complain about the controls, and people would be like, "Nah, you're just mad." Like,
Like, this is someone
they're
who
just
plays
bad.
many fighting games at the highest level for his job. Maybe we should listen to his criticism about the controls.
it's just floaty and garbage, dude. I don't know. So I'll finish it, and then I'll give my actual like thoughts on it. But definitely not motivated to play it right now. So who knows? Maybe they'll fix it all when they release 3.5 Final Mix in 2 years.
Something that like we didn't talk about. I don't know if you guys want to get into this. Maybe we could do like a patron show about it. But you guys want to talk about ice climbers?
Oh, that's.
Oh my god.
I don't think we need to talk about it. I don't think it's that.
Okay.
I
Maybe-
think you
maybe
could take
we'll-
that
maybe
to
we'll record
Discord or
something.
Twitter.
That's it.
Maybe we'll record something like pretty soon.
That might be interesting to relate it to like League in some way at some point. But I feel like I guess the difference is League gets patched and Melee doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting though. Maybe we'll figure out something.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you guys for listening. 365. You can listen to one episode a day and then only be 52 episodes behind
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
for a year. That's pretty exciting. If you like us, you can follow us on Twitter at LeagueCast and at LeagueCastFrost. Our Facebook is LeagueCast. Come talk to us on TeamSpeak, ts@leaguecastpodcast.com. Send us emails, mail at leaguecastpodcast.com. Check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/bluebasket and /KingLardout. I know that Colton has been streaming more frequently. I even threw up my stream for a little bit over the past week. Patreon.com/LeagueCast is where you can support us financially. And finally, if you'd like our Discord, send us an email or message us on League, and we'll get that to you. And that'll do it for episode 365. Once again, thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.